Hey guys, welcome back. It's Isabel here, and today I want to talk to you guys about the 7 designer bags that I actually quite like, but I just won't buy because of the crazy price point. I've done videos in the past where I talked about bags that are really popular that I won't buy and why, but I've never done a video where I talked about the bags that I actually quite like that I wouldn't buy just because of the price point, which is crazy because I am a luxury bag lover. So if I like something but wouldn't spend the money on it, I thought, you know what, it deserves a little discussion. By the way, if you're new to my channel, I'm Isabel. I do videos on fashion and luxury in moderation. So if you're into that, I'd love it if you consider subscribing to my channel. And let's get started with the bag number 1. How can we have this discussion without talking about the Chanel Classic Flap? Now, don't get me wrong, I really love the Chanel Classic Flap to a point where I actually went out to the Chanel boutiques, 2 of them mind you, the week before the price increase was announced for that first week of November 2021. Huge Classic Flap price increase. I wanted to add a small Classic Flap to my collection at some point, and when I heard about the crazy price increase news, I thought, you know what, it might just be a good idea to just pull the trigger and just do it. So I only have 1 Classic Flap, which is this one, which is in the medium caviar beige clair with gold hardware in my collection at the moment. So I really wanted to add a small one. So I went in and checked them out, and even when I saw the price tag of like 10,000 Australian dollars at the time just before the price increase, I just couldn't do it. If you guys watch my videos regularly, you might have seen that shopping vlog video where I try on a few lambskin small Classic Flaps, and there were 2 in particular that I absolutely loved. The vibrant yellow one with the boso interior, the cobalt blue interior with the rainbow hardware. Oh my goodness, that bag was stunning, and I could just think of so many outfits that I could wear with that bag. And the other one that I absolutely loved on that trip was the dark grey one. So if you haven't watched that video, I'll leave a link to that video down below, so do head over there for some eye candy. But here's the thing, at these price points, it's easy for me to say I will not buy another Classic Flap anymore because I own one. But even if I didn't already own one, I'm not sure that I'm actually going to go out and purchase one for something like 13,000 Australian dollars, which is what the current price of this particular bag is. I mean, it's just insane to me. And I've always been one who always preached, you know what, if you love it, even if there are price increases, just go for it, pay the extra and just get the bag that you want. I've actually done 2 Chanel price increase videos on my channel previously, and both times I really say that. But this time, at the most current price, I'm not sure that these bags are really worth buying anymore, in my humble opinion. I feel like there are many other designer bags that are just as beautiful on the market. So unless you're really rolling in money and money is just not even a consideration for you, I just think I would probably consider alternatives. A really great alternative I always talk about is the mini flaps. They have a very similar look to the Classic Flap, but at half the price. So I'd still consider the mini flaps. So if I didn't already own a Classic Flap, then I'll probably just be happy to purchase a mini flap. It will be quite enough for me, unless my financial situation really completely changed. I have way too many financial priorities right now to be dropping this much money on a Chanel Classic Flap. Second bag on this list is the Fendi Peekaboo. I have checked out Fendi Peekaboo bags on so many occasions, and it is a beautifully crafted bag. You really feel the quality. It is full leather inside and out, and they come in so many beautiful colors and so many variety of versions that I absolutely love that bag. I especially love how understated it is. If you know Fendi, you'll recognize it by their classic design. But if you're not really into designer bags, then you know it is a pretty understated bag that doesn't scream logos anywhere. So I really love the subtlety of that bag. But Fendi Peekaboo bags have also seen a lot of price increases over the years. I remember when these bags were around 4,000 Australian dollars. So about a couple of weeks ago, I actually checked out the Peekaboo bags in store, and there was this particular one in that sort of grayish neutral color that I really liked. in a small size. It wasn't the mini, but it was a good sort of everyday size bag that would be really appropriate as a work bag, again, because it doesn't scream logos and it will fit just enough items. But the bag that I wanted was 7,000 Australian dollars. Now, it's not just Chanel that has had so many price increases. A lot of other brands have had so many price increases as well. And I just could not justify that price point. And maybe part of the problem is that I remember the old prices. Maybe if I had no idea what they cost just a mere 3-4 years ago, I would just accept these as the prices of designer bags currently. But the Fendi Peekaboo, I just couldn't do it at the new price point. I still love them and I would love to have one, but maybe I'll add one from the pre-loved market. I've seen ones that are in great condition for, 4,000 to 5,000 Australian dollars. Fendi unfortunately doesn't hold its resale value as well as some of the other brands like Chanel. But on the flip side, if you are shopping from the pre-loved or resale market, then maybe it is a good thing. So I'm not sure how much I actually really love the Fendi Peekaboo bag that I will actually scour the secondary market and try and get a deal. Maybe I will take the initiative and start looking, but I have to say, I just couldn't do it at 7,000 Australian dollars. Next up, we have the Hermès Bolide bag. Arguably, it is one of the very classic designs that Hermès does. So I can definitely see how timeless it would be. But the Bolide bag also retails for, in like a medium size, something like 12,000 Australian dollars. I mean, in my opinion, it looks very, very similar to the Louis Vuitton Alma bag. I just don't see enough of a difference between the Bolide bag and the Louis Vuitton Alma bag to pay something like 5 times more the price of the Alma bag price. This Alma bag I've had for about 5 years and it is in full leather, epi leather, so it is a processed leather. But this one I believe currently retails for about 2,500 Australian dollars, whereas the Bolide bag, say the mini Bolide, which is actually a little bit smaller than this one, retails for around 8,000 or 9,000 Australian dollars. That's a lot more money. And is it just me or do we just really not see that much of a difference? And I included the Bolide bag on this list because, as you can see, it's not the silhouette or the shape that I'm not into. Obviously, I do love this sort of a silhouette of a bag. So I should actually really love the Bolide bag as well. And I'm sure the quality and the craftsmanship is just amazing. But for me, the Louis Vuitton Alma is quite good enough. I don't need to go and spend $9,000 for a Bolide bag that is even smaller than this. So yeah, never really understood it, but let me know what you guys think about the Bolide bag. While we have this Alma bag on screen, let's talk about the next category of bags. So this is not a specific bag, but the next on the list is a category of bags, and that is Louis Vuitton canvas bags that cost more than 3,000 Australian dollars. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Louis Vuitton canvas bags are really amazing. I do have a couple in my collection. You can see one here. And this was my very first Louis Vuitton, actually, designer bag in my life that I bought something like 10 years ago. And this is a Speedy size 30 in the Damier Ebene, which is a beautiful coated canvas, a classic one that Louis Vuitton does. But I remember paying $825 for this beauty here. And this one now retails for something like 1,900 Australian dollars, which is really crazy to me. In saying that, this is classified the most entry, most affordable level of Louis Vuitton canvas bags. So I'm noticing a lot of Louis Vuitton canvas bags are actually closer to 3,000 to 4,000 Australian dollars. And I am just not prepared to spend like 4,000 Australian dollars on a canvas bag from Louis Vuitton when I remember getting a very classic bag for less than 1,000 Australian dollars. And I do have quite a few Louis Vuitton canvas bags that I absolutely love. One example is the Dauphine bag in the mini size. Oh my goodness, I actually really love that bag. I've tried that bag on multiple occasions. I just think it looks so chic and smart, but at the same time a little bit vintagey, and I really love the aesthetics of that bag. It will dress up really nicely, you can dress it down, it will have the versatility, and it's that little different to what you see a lot. So I do like that uniqueness about it. But it's like 4,500 Australian dollars, and I just couldn't do that price point. So it can just remain an item that I admire from afar. The reason I wanted to talk about this Alma bag with this point is also because I feel like the epi leather from Louis Vuitton is just so underrated. If you compare the prices of coated canvas pieces versus epi leather versions of the same silhouette of bag, the price difference is actually not that much. For example, this Alma bag in the BB size, the coated canvas version is close to $2,000. I think it might actually be more now, but this one here is just $300 or $400 more, and you're getting a full leather bag. And even the interior, the coated fabric bags like the Monogram or the Damier Ebene comes with just a very plain fabric lining, whereas this epi leather version comes with the microfiber lining. When you can get an epi leather bag for just like a couple of $100s more, I would much prefer to go for an epi leather version of a style from Louis Vuitton than the canvas monogram bags. Number 5 on the list is the Valentino Roman stud bag. Again, that bag is such a beautiful bag. It is a similar sort of a silhouette to the Fendi Peekaboo bag, and I actually quite like that design. So it has 2 sections. The front section has a turn lock, and the back section is just a magnet closure, if I remember correctly. On my recent shopping trip that I vlogged and took you guys along with me, I tried on this beautiful blue color, and I'm such a denim lover as well, so I know that color is going to work really well for me. I love the giant studs in that antique brushed gold hardware sort of a finish. That bag in that size and everything was just so perfect. But I never realized Valentino bags were so pricey these days. That Roman stud bag in the blue that I tried on was over 4,000 Australian dollars. I just thought Valentino bags were pretty good value for money for the amount of hardware, the amount of glitz and glam that you get in a designer bag. And Valentino is not a brand that I would classify as a brand that I would go to for an amazing bag. To me, Valentino is more about shoes and accessories. So when I saw the bags retail for over 4,000 Australian dollars, I was actually quite surprised. So although I absolutely love that bag, I don't think I'm going to spend over $4,000 on a Valentino bag, to be very frank. And this is not the most important thing, but also Valentino bag resale value is just terrible, so they just don't hold their value well at all. Not that we buy bags to resell, but you know, it's just smarter to go for bags that hold their value, so you have at least a little bit of value retained in your collection of goods that you love to use and look at. So yeah, I love that bag, but I won't buy it. Next up on my list is none other than the Dior Book tote. I have spoken about the Dior Book tote quite a number of times as well, but hear me out. So Dior Book totes cost anywhere between about 4,000 to 5,000 Australian dollars last time I checked. Correct me if they also had another price increase too, but last I checked, that was a range of prices depending on size. I'm not even a huge fan of that bag, but there's just something really chic about that bag, and I do love the aesthetics of it. But it's literally a nothing bag. It's just a giant tote with no compartments, I don't think. It's just an open tote that is made out of fabric. So I remember having this conversation with a couple of my girlfriends when we were in Gold Coast. I also vlogged that trip when we were shopping together as well. We went to Prada, and Prada does these amazing fabric totes as well in the denim material.
I actually think it is definitely much better value.
Much better than the book tote, right?
Yeah, definitely, because that's around $5.
Yeah.
And what are you actually getting?
Do you remember we checked out the mini size?
That's
it was
right.
$4.
It was like something ridiculous.
Yeah.
You've got the strap, you've got the little
Yes,
pocket.
try the strap.
And they have 2 pockets.
You've
One
got 2
pocket here as
pockets
well.
here.
Have a magnet.
That's for your phone.
And it's actually more pliable and comfortable.
You can open more.
Yeah.
And those Prada bags retail for like a third of the price of the book tote. It has a very similar vibe, but it's just so much more functional. So it's got a little zipper compartment on the inside, if I remember correctly. It also comes with a top handle as well as a shoulder strap. I know Cassie Thorpe has bought one for herself, and I love the one that she picked up as well. And I just think there are just so much better options out there. Again, the look of the Dior Book tote I absolutely love. And again, if the price was not a consideration, I would probably buy it. But when you look at some of the other similar totes out on the market from pretty reputable designers, I just think that price is just too much. Then let's go to one of my favorite designers, Saint Laurent, and their new Gaby bag. That bag is one of their newest designs, and I actually quite like the vintage vibe that it gives off. And there's just something really attractive about that bag. It is a rather large satchel type bag. It's quite flat. It's got 2 compartments and it has a full leather lining. So, you know, you could say that that bag is really worth the price point. It retails for about 3,200 Australian dollars, which I think is a reasonable price for that sort of a bag from such a nice designer brand. But here's the thing. When I looked at that bag in store, it was a brand new bag that I looked at that they brought out from the back storeroom. But even then, the bag just looked really tired. I don't know whether it's because it's not so structured. It does have, you know, square corners and the stitching finish. But if you look at it from the side, it's a very sort of floppy bag that you can just squeeze. It doesn't kind of hold its width. So maybe that is the reason why. But considering some of Saint Laurent's other bags that cost a very similar amount, like the Solferino bag, the Cassandra bag, their Lulu bags, I feel all of those other Saint Laurent options are much more polished looking and a lot more expensive looking compared to the Gaby bag. So if I just consider the Gaby bag on its own, I definitely think that it is a nice value for money designer bag. But considering what else you can get from Saint Laurent for a very similar price point, I just think that the Gaby bag doesn't look as luxurious as some of the other bags. My favorite is probably the Solferino bag out of the bags that I've mentioned. That bag just looks so luxurious, and the price point is, you know, just a little bit higher than the price point of the Gaby bag. So that is my humble opinion on that bag. And I also have a shopping vlog trying the Gaby bag on, so I'll leave that video on screen if you want to watch another video of mine. I want to know what is on your list of bags that you love but won't buy because of the price point. Do share them in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. As always, thank you so much for watching and spending some of your precious time with me today, and I can't wait to see you again soon in my next video. Bye guys!